Okay, and good afternoon. Welcome to Smudcast number 632, Panty Stocking. Could never be made today. And this is by a YouTuber that we have covered before that we haven't blacklisted yet. So maybe there's something about this guy we like. This is from Saberspark. And this came out just 2 weeks ago in February. Has almost 500,000 views, so I don't know if that makes a good video. He's got a channel size of 1.7 million, so maybe that's just residuals, people getting updates, clicking on the link, and that's about it. This is a 22 minutes? Yeah, 22 and 20 seconds long. So I don't know if this is going to be any good, but as usual, we only go through about halfway through. We get a vibe for what this is going. If it's tolerable, we might continue. I don't know how long this will take. Whisp will pop in eventually, and maybe they'll have something to say. But on the face of it, Mike, I think we all just agreed before we started the video, like nothing is stopping anyone from making an anime or a video game or a visual novel or a webcomic or a light novel or a comic book or an animation series about pretty much anything, pretty much any topic, any genre, for young adults, for adult content, for children, for elderly, like you name it, you can get away with it, you can do it, and you could publish it. And there might be a business for that. So it all depends on whether or not you make good stuff and you tell people who want good stuff of the thing you're making. That's pretty much all it is. So you can make porn, you can make kids shows, you can make documentaries. It really, really doesn't matter. So I don't like these sorts of topics where you can never, ever make this thing ever again. It was only once in a lifetime. Like the world has changed and moved on. It's like, no, we can make silent movies. We could make radio dramas. We can make whatever, and we can sell it if there's a market for it. That's what it comes down to. Can you make money? If you can do it. I mean, that's the general idea. And even if you can't make money, you can go to Kickstarter and you can ask for money, and you can use all that money to make the thing you want, and then no one will buy it if that ends up being the result, but you can still make the thing, so it can be done. So I don't know what the major concern is. Maybe he'll elucidate what he means, because I don't see the argument, especially nowadays with the internet. Anyway, we've got a wonderful hello from Vladimir. Hey, Vlad, how's it going? I managed to find a job at Honda. Fantastic. Great company. Great cars. Good going, sir. Hopefully you get a rebate on your first purchase of a car. Or maybe a good insurance policy. I don't know if you're selling cars or manufacturing them or managing the people who do, but good for you, sir. All right. I think we're ready to go. Mike, you ready to start this video up or what?
I'm ready.
Okay, 22 minutes. Here we go. Oh, that's loud.
Panty and Stocking with garter belts. One of the most unique animes ever made. From its distinct design.
Is it really unique? I don't know. Visually, it doesn't really impress me. Storytelling-wise, it's okay. It's nothing special. The content is a bit different because it's adult-themed, but no, wasn't that unique. I would say, was it Chainsaw Man or Chainsaw Devil? That's pretty unique.
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, that's like, wow. Crazy animation. They do ending. I don't know if you've ever seen Chainsaw Man, but the endings of each episode has unique groups that do the opening or the closing music, and they have individually drawn endings per episode. So that to me is really unique. So on just that alone, let alone the production value, is huge. So if you want like a really crazy story about violence and devils in Japan, which feels very reminiscent of a Persona plot, go watch Chainsaw Man. That will be memorable for you. Panty in Stocking with garter belt. It's fine.
It's a fun watch.
It's not a big deal. Didn't really make me laugh a few times, which is cool. So no, it doesn't really, unless this is all you've seen and you watch Gundam all day and you're like, oh my god, not another mecha anime or not a mecha anime, and then boom, you watch this, you're like, that would be memorable, I guess. if your repertoire of anime is so limited, yes, that would be true. But, we've been around the block a few times.
To its dynamic animation. It's the writing that gets me. An action comedy with such an edgy sense of humor that it makes me wonder if it's too offensive for modern audiences. That perhaps Panty and Stocking could not succeed in today's current media landscape.
Of what? Of media landscape of Japanese viewers, which are their primary viewers? Or, South America? Like, what are they doing? They look at the demographics of, like, South America, North America, Northern Europe, South... Like, which demographic? Which people would find this offensive? I don't get it. Anime has been edgy since the 70s, 80s. They had adult content in the 80s and 90s as well. And it sold. Maybe not in their primary or their secondary import, but they sold in Japan. That's why they keep making stuff like that. So, no. People are okay.
Well, you got people on TikTok already protesting the reboot, calling it problematic.
Oh no, the TikTok crowd calling anime problematic. Whatever will Studio Gainax do? Oh, that's right, not give a shit. And if you know Gainax, they're the makers of this gem, which is you don't know Gainax, then go check out their Wikipedia page. They haven't made anything in about 5 years, so I don't know what they're up to. But if they're doing a reboot, good for them. They're finally doing something. So, yeah.
I believe Panty and Stocking's now in the hands of Trigger, because I think there were problems that were going on with Studio Gainax.
Oh, really? So they bought the IP at the rights?
Yep.
Good stuff. Well, you see, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with another studio using the IP, doing their own thing. Hopefully they'll treat it with some respect, and maybe they'll get some of the original designer, maybe the animators. That'd be great. I think that's fine. So long as they respect the original IP and do their own thing, I think that's cool.
I wonder why.
I am single and looking for some mingling.
Fatty.
Suck my giant you fairy.
I would totally have his abortion.
It is
Oh
so
God, that
ridiculous,
does.
so overwhelming, so absolutely insane that if it was an online browser, it would be the literal opposite of this video sponsor. Opera GX.
Skip to 227.
This is
The ad ends at 227.
Are you serious? This goes on for 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Jesus. Holy hell, dude. A 2-minute advertisement over a browser? Are you... What? That's a free download. Why would you... How do you make... Okay, whatever. He's got his money. I don't care. Good for him.
Diverts resources. That is Panty and Stocking.
Are you on a diet? You can tell me. Of course not. Why would you say that? I'm naturally petite and thin. I'm the reason tweens make themselves hurl. Uh-oh. Peekaboo. I saw it. There it is. There it is again. Hello. Still there. Fatty. Badass. One more hit. Fatty. Fatty, 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 fatty.
How this show came to be, why it's so controversial, and if it would be rejected nowadays by the modern online world. One that...
Okay, we don't care about the modern online world, and neither does the studio that makes this stuff. They make it for the fans. They make it for the people giving them money, who's saying we want more of this. Or
Weren't there like, I don't know, animated YouTubers who were inspired by this art style that use this quite a bit? I've seen a few.
I don't know the actual like anime fans or YouTubers that do that. I do know that the studio itself was inspired by that American studio. Not the studio, but the name was called Drawn Together, which was an adult American animation. It was kind of crude. It had some famous names from classical animations like Betty Boop and what have you. And they were all like talking about adult themed stuff, like drugs and sex, and it was that sort of crude humor that they drew inspiration from to make the show. but it's still a Japanese anime. It's its own style of Japanese anime. So I don't know if there's other people that are inspired as a result of this show, and they borrowed that to make their own. I don't know. That'd be fine, but you know, it's funny that anime is being inspired by American animation, and now the Western world would look at this anime and go, "Oh, it's too crude." You know, it's too adult. It's like, what are you talking about? It's inspired by you guys. You're the ones they made it for.
I mean, it's inspired by Vader Zen and a bit of South Park.
Right, that adult crude humor. So I would say the American world would have no problems with this.
Strap in, folks. We're in for a wild ride.
Take one and pass it back.
Hey, what are you girls doing?
I wish he stopped
What are
using
the
the dub
origins
word.
of Panty Stocking? Who unleashed this chaotic anime onto the world? Well, that would be Studio Gainax, a legendary anime studio with a massive rosters of hits like Neon Genesis Evangelion, FLCL, and Gurren Lagann. It was actually right after Gurren Lagann where the team went on a trip to unwind. While completely drunk off their asses, they came up with nearly all the ideas for Panty and Stocking, wanting to really cut loose and try something completely different from their previous work, both in tone and aesthetic. Panty and Stocking was unlike anything the studio had ever done before. Or hey, the anime industry for that matter. While it had messed around with absurdist stories before, like in FLCL, Panty and Stocking would take this energy even further, and the results would be as fascinating as they were.
I think Whisp made the same comment before about this guy's hairline. It makes no sense. It's up to his nose, I guess. I don't. That irks me too. But anyway.
Device. The misadventures of the Anarchy Sisters, Panty and Stocking, two angels who were kicked out of heaven due to their bad behavior, charged with earning their way back into heaven by doing good deeds and earning something called heaven coins. They battle supernatural forces in the fictional city of Dunn City, a play on the Japanese phrase meaning fallen angels. What follows is a 12-episode fever dream of insane, stylized animation, over-the-top action, and of course, crass humor that revels in sexual innuendo and potty humor. On top of that, the show parodies pop culture and mirrors almost every media trope you can point a finger at, in glorious, irreverent self-awareness that can leave a person slack-jawed. The series was created as a departure from the more serious and dramatic works that Gainax was known for, and was intended to be a humorous and irreverent take on the action genre. Despite its polarizing reception, Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt has had a lasting impact on the anime industry and remains a unique and memorable entry in Gainax's extensive catalog of work. The series was directed by Hiroyuki Imashi, who brought his signature style to the show, blending traditional anime techniques with elements of Western animation. The series pulls from a lot of different influences, from anime, of course, to Western animation, to other Japanese properties like tokusatsu, with the Monster of the Week format with each ghost villain, and specifically the endings with the physical props of the monsters exploding at a flat angle when defeated. It is very much so in the vein of classic Showa-era toku shows, like Ultraman, Super Sentai, and Kamen Rider. Now, one of the most notable differences in the animation style of Panty and Stocking was its use of exaggerated expressions and physical comedy, reminiscent of cartoons like the Powerpuff Girls. The show also made use of fast-paced action sequences and created...
Okay, everything he's saying is just like basic facts, and nothing of it has anything to do that's saying it could never be made today. All these techniques are like, yep, this is how they drew it, this is what it looks like, this is who made it. It's like, yep, no one would say no to any of this. There's nothing wrong with any of this so far. So I don't even know why he's bringing it up.
Of camera angles giving it a frenetic energy, and its insanely over-the-top set-piece scenes, something that was a bit of a studio signature for Gainax by this point. Combined with the bold blends of East and Western stylization, made this show a visual spectacle unlike anything seen in traditional anime, or American animation for that matter, blending the strongest aspects of both into something fresh and unique. Now, this part caught me off guard. Hiromi Wakabayashi, who provided the initial idea for the series, said that Drawn Together was an inspiration for the show's crudeness. Quote, "A few years ago, I, along with other Gynex staffers, at an American convention, were watching the American TV animation Drawn Together. And we couldn't believe that they were showing such explicit things on TV. I thought, why don't we do that?" End quote. Hiromi also cited Powerpuff Girls and his love for American shows like Glee and Gossip Girl, which, kind of makes sense. The aesthetic
Really?
of Panty Stocking is a far cry from where anime generally plays, especially the trends of its fellow shows in 2010. The much more stylized proportions, the large heads, geometric streamlined anatomy, and thick graphic outlines on the characters are lifted straight from early 2000s Cartoon Network shows like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab. And Panty and Stocking themselves are also very much so parodies of American women stereotypes in the media.
Okay, again, nothing I'm seeing has anything to do with turning viewers off. These are all like, yeah, that'd be fun to watch. That's a cool art style that other people like from other shows that are popular. So again, how could this not be? He's just listing all the facts. It's like, yeah, this is good. This is good. People like this. People like this other thing, which is just like this. It's like this. You're not making a case for it being bad, sir. So I don't see what the problem is.
Comes from. Also, Hiromi is apparently comics and other American cartoons like Transformers. As a matter of fact, he was the one who wrote the script for the Transformers parody episode. Where Panty as a robot bangs another robot in a porta potty. The show debuted in October of 2010 with mixed reviews from Japanese critics. Some of them found the humor of the show to be tasteless and that it had essentially no plot and was all style instead of substance. Others reveled in the series' debauchery, praising its high-energy animation and blend of action, comedy, and crass humor, which was seen as something fresh and entertaining. The soundtrack, produced by Taku Takahashi, was also well-received and added to the overall enjoyment of the series. It blended elements of hip-hop, electronic, and rock music to create a unique and memorable musical score. In 2011, Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt was part of the jury selections of the 15th Japan Media Arts Festival in the animation category. So yeah, it was getting some accolades. But in contrast, you have the US, where the reception of the show was mixed to say the least. There were some viewers who appreciated its irreverent humor and distinctive animation style, while there were others who were put off by its crass and absurdist approach. Some Western
Okay, but that's the imports. That's like, what is the sales being made? Who are they marketing this to? Who's buying the licenses? How much money did they make? This is where I want to see where his the critics didn't like it, the fans didn't like it. That's fine. Where did they make their money? Who bought the most units? Who had the most eyeballs? That's where the numbers matter. It doesn't matter if South America didn't like it or North America didn't like it. It matters what Japan thinks. That's their major market. So it doesn't have to be like this worldwide success to be profitable. It just has to be profitable. That's it.
Hey, Gingaman Prime wants to be on the podcast for the moment.
All right, let me pop him in.
Just did.
Oh, okay, cool. Da-da-da-da. Oh, we got a super chat from Vladimir. I'm in manufacturing, making Civics and CRVs. Oh, good for you, sir. That's cool. I know a friend of the family who was in the industry, not necessarily Hondas, but he was part of the manufacturing process as well. He did that for most of his life, and he loves cars. It's great if you love your job and you help make cars for people who also love them. That's good. Good for you. Hey, are you there, sir? Gingaman, how's it going?
Yeah, I thought I couldn't join, but it turns out I could.
Okay, good for you, sir. Are you in the watch together with us as well?
I just went in. Also, Mr. Saberspark, it's pronounced fully coolly, not FLCL.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that before. People say whatever. This guy is reading it like he's reading like a news report. He's just very da-da-da-da-da. It's just all facts. You're like, okay. Is this an opinion piece, or are you just giving us information for the past 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm just like, are we gonna get to why couldn't be made today?
Yeah, he's just describing the response from 10 years ago from American audiences, but it's like, okay, great. Parts of America didn't like it. what were their sales like? What were their figures? How many eyeballs saw it? What were their view count? Like, that's what I want to know. And then we could say, hey, can we make a part 2 or a season 2? And will that sell? That's what it comes down to, not whether a certain country or demographic didn't like it. So it's a strange, like, at least we're finally getting to the point he's trying to make, but it's like, okay, here's some negatives. Great. Give me the business reasons.
Or offensive, while others old it as one of the best anime of the 2010s, while
Polygon
publications such as Anime News Network found the show to be unremittingly revolting and generally not funny, and accused the series of having a style over substance approach.
Okay, so in this case, we have to look at the individual critics and see what they think. This is not like the vibe of everyone at Polygon or whatever the website is. It's the one reviewer. And if you know anything about the review websites for anime, there's usually like a dozen people reviewing the same thing. So is this the staff editor? Is this contributing editor? Is this like a fan? Like that's what I want to know. Because one guy's opinion of an anime they don't like because of whatever is not an excuse. You can look at Adult Swim as a whole, and there's all kinds of adult animation on there, not necessarily Japanese. So if you don't like Adult Swim, you're probably not going to like Panty and Stocking. So again, that's one channel from American comparing it to one anime-styled, American-themed anime.
Look no further than Toonami.
Yeah, well, that's different.
And proud, despite this mixed reception. Resonated well with audiences, though, and the series has gained a dedicated cult following in the US, and has been recognized for its place as a unique and memorable entry in the world of anime. The transformation scene and the music with it, Fly Away, has since achieved meme status, and was used in a bunch of parodies online. Fly away! I can't sing it. The cult following for Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt in the US grew over time through a combination of word-of-mouth recommendations and the increasing accessibility of anime through streaming platforms. As more people were exposed to the series and its distinctive blend of humor and animation, a small but dedicated group of fans began to emerge. These fans appreciated the show's off-the-wall humor and irreverent take on the action genre, and sought out others who shared their enthusiasm. The growth of the series following was also fueled by its popularity among the otaku community, who appreciated its nod to Japanese pop culture and references to other anime and manga. Online forums, fan communities, and social media allowed fans to connect and share their love for the series, helping to grow its following even further. Oh, by the way, some of y'all might notice this dog named Chuck, who bears a striking resemblance to another green animated dog. Yeah, that one. Jordan Vasquez himself even commented on the similarities between Gurr and Chuck on his Tumblr, playing off the similarities as a joke. He implied he felt the more crude portrayal of Chuck did not really mesh with the personality he had given to Gurr, but still praised Gainax overall as one of the few anime studios he could personally stomach. Geez, wow, I guess he doesn't care for anime. From angels and demons stripping their clothes off, to the same demons and angels shooting each other right afterwards. Among all the craziness, there was a plot that was slowly advancing throughout the show, which is Panty and Stocking trying to get those heaven coins and go back to heaven. Did they ever achieve their goal at the end? Well, let's just say that this show has one of the most bizarre endings ever conceived in an anime. What happened, you ask? Well, it ended on a massive cliffhanger. Spoiler alert.
Okay, this guy is just like he's not giving me reasons why this show is good or bad or not accepted or not can't be made today. He's just saying, "Oh, this show has this, the show has that. I didn't like the ending. The ending is confusing."
Want to just put the speed up a little to like 1.5 again?
Yeah, I don't know. This guy is just rambling. Let's try 1.5. Yeah.
The ghost herself, who murders Panty, and then
I'm sorry. But surprise, I'm actually a demon.
Now, many assumed that because of this cliffhanger, there would be a second season. But yeah, there never was. And it seems that it was more like Dynex wanting to end the show on a note just as mad as the rest of the series, throwing the entire audience for a massive loop, then closing out before you had any time to even process the twist. It was almost as abrupt as the ending of Drawn Together.
Drawn together, happy castle!
A sequel series seemed unlikely, as Hiroyuki, the director of Panty Stocking, left Dynex and went on to co-found Studio Trigger in 2011. Bringing the same kind of energy that defined Dynex projects, Trigger is essentially viewed by the public as the successor of Dynex, and have gone on to produce a number of critically acclaimed and popular anime series: Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia, Promare, and most recently, the hugely successful cyberpunk Edgerunners on Netflix. However, with Panty and Stocking still being owned by what remains of Dynex, which had at this point remained largely inactive ever since the founding of Trigger, it seemed that a follow-up to Panty and Stocking wouldn't happen. And even if it did, the director behind the series wouldn't even be involved. Now, there was a small blip of hope for a sequel in 2016, when a Twitter post from Dynex West vaguely hinted at a Panty and Stocking announcement. Speculation immediately abounded, pondering if this was the first hint at a second season. Hope intensified further, when additional posts confirmed that the announcement wouldn't be a pachinko machine, or a social network game, or an additional Blu-ray release of the first season, and instead said, quote, "We're offering something new for fans of the series." So, what was it? The teaser ended up being a Panty and Stocking themed cafe. Bastards. I want to go, but bastards nonetheless, right? Why do they toy with our hearts? Since Dynex has essentially dissolved, and most of the studio went on to form Studio Trigger, the likelihood of a follow-up to Panty and Stocking is almost certainly never going to happen. That ending cliffhanger seemed very much so intentional.
Hold it!
Oh my god, no way! Wow, okay, so in 2020, Studio Trigger was able to secure the rights to both Panty and Stocking as well as Gurren Lagann from what remained of Dynex, bringing the rights back into the hands of the original creative team that helmed the projects. During a panel at Anime Expo 2022, Trigger revealed that they were working on the elusive, seemingly never going to happen second season of Panty and
Okay, this is going nowhere. He's just he's just giving us facts. Like, dude, give us reasons why. All he's saying now is that, oh, well, now that the new studio got the IP. It's like, great. Is that why it will never be made today? Because the IP is in limbo and they don't have time to develop it? Okay. So it's nothing to do with the audience wanting it. Clearly there's a fan rapport with Studio Trigger. And they made a freaking cafe out of it. So there's obviously a clique of group or people in Japan who like it. So good for them. But he's not telling me why it can't be made. Go ahead a little further ahead here. Here we go. 15 minutes. Here we go.
issue making fun of the Catholic Church, showing the priest Garterbelt as a sexual deviant, and implying that he had sexually abused briefs off screen, like multiple times over, which is used as the butt of joke after joke after joke, and nothing more. The show also had an entire episode based around Panty and Stocking, shaming each other for eating too much and getting fat, and going through multiple extreme diet techniques as well, as also lamenting being overweight in general. And yeah, that's just the tip of this iceberg in terms of lines the show would cross, that were even considered a bit too much even back in 2010. But in 2023? Oh, this year is an entirely different beast. There are people online nowadays who are much more sensitive to this kind of content and have no issue putting so-called problematic content on blast and pushing it for cancellation and disparaging anyone who is not as equally outraged as them.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. I don't care about Twitter or some social media people who say stupid shit. That has nothing to do with whether the studio's going to make whatever they want, because it's founded in Japan and they do things for their clients and their producers who pay money to make stuff. So unless the people from Japan who are giving them money to make stuff are like, oh, well, we want a worldwide market. What's your most popular IP? That's what they're going to make. So this could be a pet project for someone. This could be an individual producer's pet like interest. That's fine. If there's a business opportunity, they'll take it. If not, that's fine too. That doesn't explain it can't be made today, though. There has to be something about today where there's like an actual request, like for an RFP or something. Let's like, okay, we want to do a thing. Let's get some business marketing guys together, run some numbers, see if there's a market for it. If there is, we'll do it. Fair enough. Simple business reasoning. If it's like, oh no, people on Twitter are saying mean things about the fans of this thing, that's not an excuse. That's sort of silly. You're not going to base your entire opinion on producing a piece of entertainment on social media posts. That doesn't make any sense.
Of Panty and Stocking, TikTok exploded with its offensive issues, and even calling its simplified style, combined with the sexual acts of the characters as bait for P words. I can't say it, YouTube would kill me. That the characters look too much like children and were stand-in for kids, which, like, the thought of that is just absurd. It is ridiculous.
Does this thing on screen remotely look like a child?
Compared to Powerpuff Girls, no, obviously not. But again, he's saying stupid shit about TikTok, which is like, who cares? What do TikTok people, whether they're big or small, have anything to do with the marketplace of anime from Studio Trigger? I don't think
it's a trick question. They don't matter.
Yeah, I don't think Studio Trigger's going to social media and going, oh, what's popular now? Oh,
Oh wow, fucking TikTok bitching about garter belts look or the face. Oh, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like, no one is going to get their marketing research from social media. That's silly. The only place you would get marketing research from social media is if you're running ads and you produced a product that advertises the product on whatever platform. They go, oh, look, you sold 100 units last month for your thing. Great. Let's use that for our next product or for that next demographic. That's about it. It goes with anything. It doesn't matter if it's a physical product or entertainment or whatever. Talking about TikTok, I don't like this argument. This is silly. Especially TikTok, which is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is absolutely not what the show is trying to do. But this is the and it's worth issue for the show. Like, I can only to be hearing a lot about this show one way or another when the new season finally drops. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Place my donut. Eat my
So they're actually making a new season? Okay. Then
So the title is a lie.
yeah, let me just rewind that. If they're making a new season, then that's done. We're finished.
So I was just like, yeah, so if they're making a new season, it could never be made today, but they're making a new season. Then what is the point of the video?
Original 13-episode series from Gynax premiered in 2010. Studio Trigger announced its first panel of Anime Expo on Saturday from July of last year. Working on a new project for Panty Stocking franchise. The panel showed a short video featuring an animated short and text with the phrase "New Panty and Stocking." The videos feature the main characters, each posing with both their middle fingers up. The 13-episode originally aired in 2010. Dibbity body boo. Okay, so that's something the studio has revealed. They're
This invalidates the video then, because it's being made today.
I'm a bit confused, sir.
What the fuck? I mean, that's at least just on a basic level. Maybe there's something more to the argument.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe as it was before, it couldn't be made today. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there's like some sort of a technical reason why, like not a business reason, not a social reason, but there's a technical reason why they can't do it, which is
maybe something inherent to the show, I guess.
Well, I was thinking more like the way that they talked about in 2020 how COVID came and they opened up a cafe, which is interesting because no one was really going out in 2020 to eat and have fun and whatever. So this is like, okay, it probably wouldn't work in a lockdown scenario, but we're well past that, especially in Japan. So what's stopping them from making the thing they want to make, which they said they're going to make? Like that. This is where the story begins. This is where the video should have started. And says, well, look, they say they're going to make it, but here are the reasons why that's not going to happen because of today. And you're like, oh, okay, great. Give me the reasons. Now we have something to work with. The past 20 minutes or the past 15 minutes were just him going, this was
a summary.
Yeah, this was
just a big old summary.
Yeah, this was a thing that happened. This was another thing that happened. It's like, the history of the show and the studio and the people. It's like, that's fine.
Yeah, if he had started with this, it's like, yes, we've all heard the news that there's going to be a new season, but before this news, we had next to nothing, and a lot of people were saying that it couldn't be made today, and here's why. It's like, if that's what the video was, okay, fine. There'd be more leeway here, but you're showing this now.
Yeah, and this is a almost 500,000 view video from 2 weeks ago. I was like, dude, just get to the point.
Milking the news.
20 minutes of this. It's like blah 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 blah. Here's history lesson of thing you could find online within 2 seconds. Like, okay, great, thanks.
Like, history lesson is fine. It's like that's not how it comes off as just with the title alone.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
my donut, eat my donut. I've got a donut for you.
In conclusion, Panty Stocking is one of the most unique animated shows ever made, and is a great example of combining Western animation influence into anime, which isn't very common. Usually it's the other way around, but Panty Stocking was different. From its distinct character designs, to its smooth and dynamic animation, to its irreverent writing, Panty Stocking has firmly cemented itself as a standout in the world of anime. Yes, I admit, it is not perfect, and quite a few of the jokes are dated or just never hit to begin with. But most of the flaws of the show that are just like, hey, I don't dig potty humor, but I'll let it pass, or, oh, that's kind of hypersexualized and irreverent, whatever, I'll let it slide, or it's kind of funny here and there. Those kinds of flaws to me make it stand out that much more because they were trying to do something different. With season 2 slated for a 2023 release, I guess we'll have to wait and see if something as shocking and sardonic as Panty Stocking could still succeed in this current media landscape. Things have changed so much since 2012. Though it can also be argued that people getting upset over Panty Stocking is nothing new, since they've been upset before even back in the day when it first was released. But nowadays, it could get ugly. Though also, this could completely backfire on the detractors because, hey, controversy sells, it might make the show that much more popular. I mean, hey, look at that Harry Potter game that came out. I never heard of it, but I saw reports saying it's one of the best-selling games or most streamed games on Twitch, so yeah, controversy sells, I guess. Also, it's worth noting that this is an anime. An anime itself...
Okay, so people are going to complain, and that will only make it more popular. That what?
Well, that's invalidated by the fact that the game itself is actually a good game.
Yeah, but this is all against his original premise that it could never be made today. It's like, oh, so it could be made, and it will get popular because people don't like it.
Couldn't say the same for Bayonetta 3.
This is so backwards, dude. Why did you title your video Panty and Stocking could be made today? Because everything you said outside of some weirdos on TikTok prove it.
It's like, just replace could never with can still.
Yeah.
And see how much see how much better that sounds?
I know.
Within the context of what you're actually saying here with the news that there's a new season.
I know we harp on titles a lot, but if you're going to contradict yourself in 80%, if not 90% of your video, and then say nothing, then what's the point? Just actually learn to understand your own message and then title the message, hey, I'm going to talk about X, and that's what you do. It should be after the fact. You write your script, you read your script, and you go, oh, you know what? This anime could be made today. And then you have your title, I think this anime could be made today. And you could, summarize that or change that around however you like. Holy hell. Anyway, Kilgris, Hideout. Thank you, sir. Allow me to translate what the title actually means. Panty and Stocking would get canceled by oversensitive Twitter freaks these days. Yeah, it's basically a bunch of people on TikTok who would say they don't want to watch it, which is basically people who don't watch anime. That's all it is. It's they're not going to watch anything. They're just going to complain about stuff with cute girls on it, with animation and stories they don't like. Fair enough. That will not stop them from selling the licensing rights to whoever will want them. So, anyway. Oh, God, this guy.
Tends to and buckle under the pressure of its cynical origins in order to avoid any kind of problematic backlash. Nah, screw that. I don't like that at all. Stick to your guns. There are some things you can be nuanced on, some bad jokes you can leave behind, but if you completely strip the show of any of its cynicism, of its sense of humor, if that happens, then it's not the same show anymore. There are some unsavory jokes that were never funny to me to begin with, that those jokes can fall to the wayside. The boy being abused? Not funny. I never thought that was funny to me. The sexual nature of the priest? Lol, Catholic priest, right? That's the joke. Not funny to me. But if the
Friendly reminder that Garderbell was never a priest in the first place. He started out as what's it called? Started out as a gangster, got struck down. God tried to make him a messenger. He didn't want to do it, and he sent him on a merry way of hellish trials, and that's where he got to be where he is with the priest ghetto.
Right. He's essentially the two's handler in certain scenarios, I believe. He watches over them. Anyway.
safe, sensitive, then why come back at all? There's definitely, again, a nuance to this dance, but I think it can be done. Hell of a Boss does it. They walk that tightrope, and I bet you Panty and Stocking can as well. So yes, I recommend Panty and Stocking. The writing, the jokes.
So you're saying Hell of a Boss does it, and Panty and Stocking also does it. Great.
You mean the show that can't get its lore straight?
Well, here he is.
I'm going there.
He has an example of an anime or whatever animation that does its own thing, very similar in tone and message. It's like, oh, so this one does it and people love it, right? Yeah, okay. So it can be made today. Great. Because we have evidence of other things like it. This guy. This is like you have a science experiment and you have a hypothesis. Your hypothesis is automatically wrong, which is fair because a lot of times you have your wrong hypothesis for an experiment. But you do the experiment anyway. You go, hey, my hypothesis was wrong. My conclusion came out differently. Good. Let's do another one. We keep doing another experiment until you get it right. That's fine. This is like attempt 1, and he's so excited for doing the experiment, he didn't bother to see the results. He's like, oh, all my hypotheses were wrong. All my data proved me wrong. Watch it anyway, guys. It's good. Like, okay. So why not say Panty and Stocking is a great show and it should be made again? He's like, yeah.
Just the fact that it's being made again invalidates the video.
Right. Well. Anyway,
what was even the point?
Well, he put a 2-minute advertisement for Opera GX or whatever the hell the browser was called. So I guess he made his money right to start. So anyway, let's keep going. 2 minutes left.
Unique spectacle that oozes unapologetic original series and rock the boat in a good way with this current media landscape, one that is much more sensitive and difficult to traverse. But folks, could you imagine this show coming back today? What if it was released now? Yeah, the show that inspired Panty and Stocking. The show that was so offensive, so shocking, that mid-2000s Comedy Central canceled it.
Yeah, but it went on for 3 seasons. So,
And a movie where all the main characters died, so you kind of can't bring it back after a event like that.
Yeah, so I mean, good for them. People still liked it. It was paid for, and I don't know exactly how the producers paid for it up front. Like they have a contract to say we're going to do it for X number of seasons. So whether that was paid up front or done after the fact, after licensing, after what, I don't know, were there products they made money from it, like toys? I have no idea. So whatever that business arrangement was, it went on long enough. And I don't think, was this part of a streaming service? Or was it part of like a licensing agreement? So it's like, okay, okay. Do you guys know?
Drawn Together?
Yeah, I'm just curious about the business because if it was based off licensing, then it's like, okay, we want the first year or first season. If it goes well, we want the second season. But if it's part of a streaming service, the money has already been set. So the contract is like, okay, we'll try it for 2 years. It's like, great.
Oh, no, this thing wasn't part of streaming. This thing was on television.
Yeah, standard television product. So people watched it. People paid for ads. They made money from those ads. They had enough money left over to say, oh, you made more money than what we put in. Let's do it again. And they kept doing it until viewership dropped and the ads weren't getting played as many eyeballs. They didn't have enough money. It's like, okay, we're done making this product for you. Thank you. That's that. So it went on for 3 years. Americans like this kind of humor, apparently. So why wouldn't they like this other product from Japan, which has better animation?
I mean, the VeggieTales parody was kind of funny in the Drawn Together.
Yeah. So he's just proving the point that it works.
See?
He just ends it. I mean, he's like 2 minutes, a minute left.
He just ends it with not Larry the cucumber pickle or just shooting at someone for doing that.
Oh, his credits are gigantic. Forget it. Okay, we're done with this dude. Holy jeez. Oh my God. What a waste. Dude. Is this what you do with your hobby? What is this? Your career? Making pointless videos about you rambling on about a topic that has no relevance to the question?
It's like an animated version of the what's his face, Alex from IHE, Mr. I Hate Everything there, where it's just, oh, hey, this thing. We're going to talk about this thing.
Here's some random facts about this topic I happen to research. It's like, what's your point? Why are you telling me this? Holy hell, these people. Anyway, hopefully we have some fun stream memes to enjoy. Here's Boba Fett drawn together.
Ow.
Interesting. Me when someone calls it FLCL.
It's like, no.
Oh, dear. Here we have... Okay, very cool poses. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Best girl. All right.
Debatable.
And there we have, this video is premised in a nutshell. I now pronounce you canceled. Like Testamento? What is... It should have happened to someone else. What?
That's the thing I was talking about earlier, where he said in his fucking Kingdom Hearts video where his parents divorced, it should have happened to someone else. And it's like, oh, you motherfucker. Oh, what a lovely man. Oh, it should have happened to someone else instead of never should have happened.
I wish this suffering upon someone else, but not me.
What a totally not selfish thing to say.
I hate sensitive people. I'm not even sure what this video is about. He likes it, but other people might not on TikTok. It's like, sure? Like, okay, good for them.
What a complete waste of my time.
I just wish he didn't put the dub version on the screen whenever he did
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
I like the sub one.
Is the dub really that bad?
It is.
It has its moments, but it's just a thing of... I just like the actual thing.
If you watch both, you'll notice the difference in how they deliver their lines and how fast they talk and how the comedy works.
It's like the one voice I kind of like for the dub was it was Chris Ares as the voice of the mayor of Dalton City there.
Really, Frieza. Yeah, that was
There's the Anyway, this is a good show. It's interesting. I recommend checking it out. Not for everyone, of course, and that's totally fine. Anime of that style, that humor is not for everyone. It's kind of like XL Saga, just not as crazy and random and more focused on these goofy girls who are running around killing people and having sex. So anyway, Vladimir, talking about your job there. Good for you, sir. Also, Honda has a T word that must never be uttered on the premises. Yeah, I've heard of the rivalry between various car companies, whether their original origin is in Japan or Korea. So yeah, that's a common thing.
Is there really a beef between Honda and Toyota? Really?
Not necessarily a beef, but it's because they're competing because they all produce good cars like sports cars. Then there's the sports sedans, and then there's like the economy cars. So there's like the marketplace is like not saturated, but it's highly competitive, and you can get a Corolla, a Civic, whatever those very common economy cars that everyone buys. So it's very competitive per model, and you gotta they're always trying to one up each other. Like Subaru does the same thing. So there's always there's the Subaru lovers, there's the Honda lovers, and But this is a big deal with car companies. They're very competitive. So, but that's cars. That's the business, man. And one more, boo, short stream. Thank you, Vlad. Yeah, man, that was a horrible video. That was bad. That was just like silly to watch, waste of time. The guy just does not know what he's doing.
I'm just apathetic.
Yeah, I was staring at his forehead the entire time, just hating that hairline being pulled down to his nose. Always annoyed me. And his commentary was irreverent. That was pointless. Sadly. But he likes the show. Good for him. He talked about it. I'm a fan. Blah blah blah. Let's talk about TikTok for 2 minutes. Like, no, why? Who cares?
The video is invalidated by the fact that they're gonna make more of it.
Yeah, that was the dumbest part. It's like, oh yeah, they're gonna make more. It's like, okay, so why did you bring this up?
So what was the point? You could have just as easily made it just like a history lesson on Panty and Stocking before the new season comes out.
Just say, yeah,
it would have been a little bit better.
Just title the video that, take out 10 minutes of your video that you talk about nonsense, bring up the facts of why you like it, why it's good, what happened, the studio, the people, how it came about.
The fact is like a lot of his content is also literal history lesson videos on certain shows and properties and shit. So I'm just like, why didn't you make it that?
Yeah. Another donation from Kugris's Hideout. Thank you, sir.
It kills me inside every time you say it that way.
We should have watched the Gohan video. I don't make the calls here. The voting gets done, and we just go with it. So that's how it works. A Gohan video. I don't know. Every week it's always Dragon Ball. We gotta use up.
Oh yeah, the Laughing Stock Media video. Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Maybe next week or the week after.
Next week is good. We could alternate between Dragon Ball. I know it's big, guys, but we can't keep doing Dragon Ball every week. It's too much. One more from Vladimir. Logically, Nissan must be the in word. Yeah, it's Subaru, Nissan, Toyota. I guess Honda. They're all doing their own niche, but yeah, no, they compete big time. So how's Mitsubishi seen in that whole thing? Yeah, I haven't seen too many Mitsubishis. I don't know. Maybe they're not as popular. I think they're more mid-range cars. People who are sports enthusiasts, but
my family's had the same Mitsubishi Lancer since 2005, and the cars for everyone else have changed in the family, but that one has stayed in the family the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I mean, it must be a good make or good maintenance, or don't use it as much. That's pretty good to hear, man. That you got a reliable family car like that.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed the South Korean was it Kia, and that's because they're cheaper. They're just cheaper cars. They get a subsidy from the government, so they can sell at a lower price.
I mean, hey, I just got a Kia Soul last November. So
wow, my brother, his wife has a Soul. That's great. Yeah, great vehicle. They're great cars.
It's a godsend.
I know. I think my brother has a Sorento, and they also have a Kia. So it's
apparently we don't talk about Mitsubishi. Why?
Oh, yeah, are they? I don't know. I do not know the standards for all these cars. I go on YouTube. You see these car fanatic channels. Like there's the Subaru lovers, and there's the Nissan. They always compare Subaru and Nissan. I don't know why. And the Mitsubishi, I have to actually search for those fans and see what's the big deal with those cars. But yeah, I mean, this is not a car talk, but I'm just saying that this is something I'm aware of. So.
Maybe if someone puts in a speed racer video for Weed Day eventually.
I do remember watching the top 10 sales of cars or whatever for mid-range sports, and Subaru came out number one with, I can't remember the make and model, but it must have been 2011 or 2012. And it was a cheap car that did everything. It was one of those well-rounded cars that people modify and do like skids and what have you. And do donuts and all these other tricks. And they thought it was a really cute coupe, but it ran like a sports, which was nice. So anyway, that was our Anime Mondays, or whatever you want to call.
And a little bit of car talk.
And a little, yeah, there's really nothing to say with this video. It's just this guy rambling on about TikTok. Like, oh God, dude, come on.
Oh, who cares about it's Chinese spyware? Get rid of it.
You know what? Everyone's copying everyone on social media. We have shorts from YouTube. We have TikTok. We have Twitter doing the same thing now with their quick clips. So it's all the same, really. So.
No, but seriously, it really is Chinese spyware. Get it out of here.
Okay. Anyway, keep the suggestions coming. Keep the voting going, and it's up to you guys what we cover. So thank you so much for this suggestion, even though it's not really a good video, but that's what we do. We cover bad videos. That's what ends up happening. So have yourself a great day. Thanks for coming by. We'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Yay, redundancy.